Hi, it's Nell, and today I'm going to answer a question that I've gotten a few times, and it is, why are my snake plant leaves falling over? And I'm also going to tell you what you can do about it, if you choose to, because I know you love snake plants as much as I do. So in downloading all the clips, some of the audio is missing. I can piece it together enough so that you can get the idea, but be sure to head over to the blog post because it'll all be spelled out there for you. So in the meantime, because the video's been shot, we're going to focus in on the beautiful Talavera pot and the vinca and the elephant's food, so I can tell you what was missing in that last clip that just cut out. And I will be coming back in the clip soon, but for now, I just want to tell you that if you're losing a lot of leaves on your Sansevieria, it is most likely due to overwatering. They store a lot of water in their leaves and their roots, so they're very subject to overwatering, and they will pinch or girdle at the bottom, and then the leaves will just fall over. So what I'm talking about in this video is just the occasional leaf falling over. And this is especially true of the taller varieties. You're going to see two of mine soon, the Sansevieria trifasciata and the Sansevieria trifasciata laurenti. Those are the two of mine that have a couple of bent leaves on them. Hasn't happened for probably like a year or so, so it's not too often, but it's nothing you're doing. If it's occasional, it's just the nature of the plant. And what happens as they grow up, the tops and the middles tend to be larger than the base of the leaves, and they get really heavy because they can grow to 4+ feet. So it's just the weight that will cause them to bend over, lean over, fall over. One of my cute little dwarf Sansevierias. As you can see, the leaves grow pretty tight on this one, so on the ones that are smaller, so it doesn't tend to happen to them, but it does occur with the taller ones, as I said. Mainly the outer leaves. The inner leaves can hold themselves up. Or if there's one flippy flopping in the middle, you know, the others will hold it up. But let's head into the house now, and I will show you what I'm talking about. Here is my trifasciata laurentii, and it's doing the same thing. You can see that leaf shooting right out there. It's been there for about a month, so it's time to cut that off and do some propagating. That one over to the right that looks a little bit darker, let me see, I'll zoom in on it. You can see there's a little brown stake. That is another one that fell over, and then I just stuck it back in the pot and had to stake it up to get it to stay up while it was rooting in. And the trifasciata in the back there has a leaf that has done the same thing, so this is the one I'm going to haul outside to show you what's going on. So here's the planter, so you can see it outside better. I actually did a video on planting this, but it got lost somehow when I transferred over to a new laptop. This one was gone. But anyway, those lower growing ones in the front are moonshine, which you can see in a blog post and a video. I'll put the link down below. They were much grayer, silvery, and now they have turned more of like a silvery green. And you can see here too how they're getting some patterning in them too. You know, they were just these tiny little 4-inch plants I put in there, and they have changed color. But I just wanted to point that out for you because snake plants tend to do that. They change color. a little bit, or they can lose their variegation a little bit. Here's the leaf that's completely falling over, and I don't know if you can see, but it's kind of curled in a bit and gotten thin at the bottom, and that's what's caused it to go chew down, because these want to get about 4 feet tall. I've seen them almost 5 feet tall too, so these ones get large. And actually this one looks as though it is leaning a bit too, but you know, it still feels pretty sturdy. But that's what happens to these outer ones here. So here's a little bit more of a close-up on it for you. See, there's the end of the leaf, and you go inside right in there, and it's a lot more narrow in there. Alrighty, so here we are zoomed on in a bit, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and cut the leaf all the way down to the soil line. Alright, the floral nips to the rescue. I will leave a link to these down below and also in the blog post because they're fabulous to have. And what I'm going to do is cut this right about here, and then I'm going to do a close-up for you too, because to show you what I'm going to be talking about next, but I'm just going to cut it right about there. Just like that, just a nice clean cut. So I'm not quite sure if you're going to be able to tell from this or not, but the ends of the leaf are very moist because they've got a lot of water in them. So what you want to do is let them heal over. So now on to the healing over. You can think of healing over as if you got a wound and a scab forms on it, it's a scab that actually protects the wound, and that's what the healing over of the bottom of the leaf does. It protects it from getting too much moisture in it and getting all mushed out. So I've also talked about it a lot in my succulent videos, if you have watched. Okay, I think the mic cut out on the last end of that last video clip, I think. Not quite sure, but I was just talking about succulent cuttings. Anyway, back to the healing over, and I normally let them heal over for anywhere from 3 to 7 days, but for the sake of the video, I'm just going to do the planting right now. But I just wanted to tell you too that I've also let the leaves heal over for up to like a month or so, and they've been fine. And the best time to do this propagation here is in spring and summer. And in the warmer months, it is now mid-August, you will find that the leaves will heal over a little bit faster, which of course makes sense. And I'm also in a very dry climate here in the desert, so things do heal over quickly. Okay, so we're just going to pretend it's all healed over, as I said. You can either just put it right into succulent and cactus mix, or any light sort of a propagation mix, just like that. If you want to root it in a separate pot, it's going to stand up against that there, but you'll probably need to put in a stake and then tie it to get it to stand up, because they do tend to flippy flop. So that's how you would do it there. And I put it into dry mix even when it's healed over. I just put it into this mix that hasn't been watered at all. And then I just let them both kind of settle in together, the dry mix and the leaf, and then I water it really thoroughly after anywhere from 3 to 5 days. And here's the other way that you can do it that I usually do it. I just find a spot in the pot which needs a leaf, and I just dig in a hole. That's what this small trowel, as you can see, I've had this for ages. I will leave a link to a set that has a small trowel in it in the blog post. And if I remember, I'll leave it down below too in the box. But this is all you do. Is you do that, then you can, I'm going to put the stake in at the same time because I usually stake these just to get them to stand up. Just kind of pat the dirt around. This is jute string, which I have too. It comes in a ball, just like a ball of string, and it's really handy for gardening. I will leave a link to that in the post also. And you can tie it however many times you think you need to. I don't tie it too tight, but you know. Firm enough, but not too tight. So there we go. And I usually leave the stakes in for about at least 6 to 8 months until the plants have some good roots on them, or until the leaves have some good roots on them, and they are able to anchor themselves up. And here is the Laurenti leaf here. It's actually quite heavy. And I'm going to do the same with this. I'm just going to cut it to like here. I'm going to let this heal over, and then I'm going to put it back in the plant that I'm not going to take down because it weighs a lot, and it's on top of a little, well, it's on top of a probably a 6-foot bookcase, so it's just too heavy to get that down. So I'll just plant that back in after it heals over, and that one will be on its way to rooting too. And I lined the two leaves up side by side just so you could see them. Surprisingly, they're both about the same size. You know, the same height. They're about 2 feet tall. And you will also find a blog post to go along with this video. The link will be in the description box below, along with links to repotting a snake plant care, planting snake plants in small pots. I've done a few posts and videos on them, so you will find those down below.